Okay, third grade, this is it. This is our day. We're going to complete our Coyote project. So we will be doing the moon today. We are going to be doing this really cool effect. I'm going to show you how to make some of these stars, your larger stars, appear like they are glowing. And we are going to be creating that wolf silhouette along with the little cactus at the bottom. All right, so if you remember correctly, last week we did this. So you should have a paper that looks like this. And remember we splattered. Now some of the classes actually put the tracer here, and some of them did not, because we realized that on the moon there were actually some really bright spots on the moon, so you actually did not have to cover that up because it would have just blended in with our chalk. Okay, so today we're going to do our moon in white. So you will have your tracer and you're going to have some white chalk. Now if your chalk is dirty, this is important because we really don't want any of these dirty colors on our chalk. So you want to make sure you flip your paper over gently and you just want to rub it to clean just on one side, whatever side you're going to use. I need to get some of those because I need a pretty pure white to do this. I'm going to do my ends. Okay. You don't have to do a whole lot. You just want to clean it to, it doesn't have to be perfect, but you don't want it too dirty. All right, so you're going to put your little moon right in the center of your paper. You're going to hold your tracer pretty tight. Now this, you have to actually hold your chalk on its feet, not on its belly. And you're going to trace around and that's okay if it's not perfect because we're going to blend that out anyway, so that's okay. You should have a circle that looks about like this. That's okay. It doesn't have to be perfect. We're going to go ahead and blend that out. The moon is kind of fuzzy around it, so let's just go ahead and do that. We're going to blend that out. Now remember, when we did our moon study, remember we talked about those darker shadows, those craters on the moon. So what we're going to do to create that really nice glow like it's set back in outer space, we're going to, and remember we have to put it on its belly, so I'm going to get my clean side, and I'm just going to do a few spots on one side of the moon, and I'm going to gently blend. Now you will either have a tissue or you can use your fingers to do this. And I'm going to blend, and this is where you can actually start pushing some of this chalk towards the center. Okay. Now again, I really just want one side brighter, and I'm going to take and push some of this other chalk over to the other side, because you still want some of it white, but you definitely want it brighter on one side. Remember where we had all those craters? So I'm just going to kind of pushing this chalk towards the center. A little brighter. I might go in towards the center just a little bit. And I'm pushing that chalk over to the other side. Remember, I want one side darker. That's going to really make it pop out. I'm just taking all that extra chalk and pushing it around. Might want a couple of wider spaces here. Alright, so I've got some darker areas. Maybe I want to put a little bit of lighter here. I'm just pushing that chalk around. Alright, and I like that because I know that there's some darker areas on that moon whenever I did that moon study. Now, to really make it look like it's sitting back in outer space, you're just going to take and you're going to trace. You're going to press kind of hard with your chalk, and you're going to wrap it around one side, okay? You can do some at the bottom here too. That's okay. You can do that. Just one side. And then you want to do maybe a couple little white ones here that's a little bit brighter, and you can kind of blend those out. And look how that really makes it look like this moon is sitting back into outer space. Nice. If you want to kind of take your finger and blend that just a little, you can. But you really want this side to pop out and then a couple of little bright places on that side, and that really sets that moon back. Perfect. Now, if you want your stars to glow, I'm going to show you a little trick on how to make your stars glow. But here's the thing. I do not want you to have every single star on your paper glow. I want you to pick no more than 5 stars. And what you're going to do is you're going to pick your brightest stars, and you're just going to come in here and you're just going to put a little bit of chalk around it. Not much, just a little bit. And you're going to take your finger and you're going to blend. And do you see how that looks like that star's glowing? So maybe I want to come over here and I want to do this one. And that's okay. Some of you might only want to do about 3. That's okay. No more than 5. Take a little bit of chalk and go over that star, and I'm going to blend it out. Maybe I want to do this one. And maybe I want to do one down here. And that's it. No more. I don't want all of them to glow. Not all of them will appear glowing, but some of the closer ones, the ones that are darker, will appear like they are glowing. All right. So now that I've got my moon, I've got my beautiful glowy stars. Now I'm going to add my little coyote. All right, remember we want to come to the very corner of the moon. Remember his little mouth is going to be right here at the corner of the moon. And remember we said that that was almost like a heart, but the top one was a little bigger. So what we're going to do is we're going to make sure that this little heart is actually at the corner. It's actually going to be slanted. You could even slant or put the corner in front of you like this so you know you're working this way. You are going to come to the corner of your paper and you're going to come in about here and you're going to do that little bird looking shape. Just remember that the top one is going to be bigger. Okay, it's going to be bigger. His top snout is bigger than his bottom snout. And remember I told you can add that little bump on his nose if you want to do that. He does have a little bump right there on the top. All right, I'm going to slant in just a little like a heart. And I'm going to slant in just a little. I'm going to come right to the end of that moon right there. Okay. Now remember, his head, he is actually howling, so his head is slanted up. So you want to make sure that you come down. You're going to dip right here, almost like that little bird looking shape again. And you're going to slant back. His head is slanting back. Okay. We're going to come to about here. We're going to come on the outside of the moon. And we're going to go in. And then we're going to come out. Okay, so this is about the shape you should have. But again, this is not set in stone. This is just our contour line. We can always change that. I'm going to go ahead and fill it in, and I'm going to see what that looks like and see how I need to adjust him. That's the good thing about working with these contour lines. I might need to bring that little head up a little, that little bump. You can do that. And I'm going to fill it in. So far, so good. I'm just taking that paint and I'm filling him in. I'm covering up that background. Remember, this is a silhouette, so he is solid. He is opaque. He is opaque, solid black. My sky is transparent or translucent. All right, so I am pretty happy with that, but if you make a mistake, you can always just go back and make him bigger. So maybe I want to bring that lip out. Maybe I want to make this bigger. That little tip on the end of his nose. Not a tip, it's more rounded. Just a roundy bump. And it is a very crisp line here. But you can always go back and adjust him if you're not happy. If you're not happy with the way his neck is, remember it's almost like it's a big curve, like an S, like a backwards S. It's like a backwards S. All right, so now I'm going to show you how we're going to do a little bit of detail because his little fur is not perfect. His little fur is, you're going to be able to see some little fur in that shadow, in the silhouette. What you're going to do is you have to make sure your brush is dry. So you want to go in here and kind of dry it off. Get some of that wet paint off, dry it off. You want a drier brush. And you're simply just going to add a little bit of, tiny bit of fur coming off. Just a little bit. Just here at the bottom. And I'm actually kind of slanting it down. You actually want the fur to kind of slant down. And I want some that sticks out a little bit further towards the bottom. And I'm also going to do that on the back of his head here. I'm going to add just a little bit. I don't want that perfect. I want a little bit of fur in the back. Good. All right, and so you should have something that looks up. Oh, we got to do the little cactus. We're going to put that little cactus in. That's pretty simple. I'm going to dip my paintbrush. I'm going to just make just a small little oval, really long oval. Remember those little cactus arms? They don't go above the body of the cactus. So maybe I want one there. And they're also not straight across. You want to put one higher, one lower. I think I want this one lower. But I'm not going to go above that. We call that, I guess, the stem of the cactus, to keep them below that stem. And so when you are done, you should have something that looks about like this. And when you're done, you're going to put it on the drying rack, get your wipe, clean your hands, clean your mat, and sit at the carpet and read a book.